Greetings! You did not click on Michigan Football Update with Romy Petroff, but instead you have clicked on St. Paul's podcast Beyond the Sermon. During this time, we will look beyond the words that our pastors have preached that are full of life. I'm your host, Michael Sinn, and today I have Pastor Smith with me today. Say, Mahabla.
Mahabla.
Any idea what you think this language could be?
Sounds
If you'd like a hint, it is something that I used to raise.
Turkey.
Yes, it is Turkish.
Okay. I don't know if I knew. So there is a Turkish. It's not. They don't speak Arabic there.
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm assuming,
yeah.
so maybe that's a bad thing.
Nah,
to do.
I mean that's just ignorance on my part. But yeah, Turkish. Okay.
I don't know where else in the
That
world
is not what
would
I
be.
was gonna guess. I thought it sounded more like Pacific Island kind of. That was gonna be my guess. But.
Oh, I should look that one up and
Yeah.
add that to the list for the different hellos. Well, as we are recording this, are you ready for the surplus of candy that your three kids will be getting tomorrow for Valentine's Day for all the parties?
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly can't remember how much candy they get from Valentine's Day. It's definitely
Not as much as Easter or Halloween.
no. I was gonna say if because for about half the year, it's like the Halloween through Easter half of the year, there is a pretty constant influx of candy. But it seems like it's Halloween for sure the most, then Christmas, then Easter, then Valentine's Day. I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just have to. We'll just have to add it to the slowly going stale remnants of Christmas candy that we still have.
Is there some Halloween candy in there too?
I think there still is. Yeah, we do. I think our kids kind of start to forget. Hopefully, they're not listening to this. They kind of start to forget about the candy at some point.
Yeah.
Like that first week or two after Halloween, it's like every day, can we have some more of the candy? And we're pretty liberal with it, like right after Halloween, because it's a special time of year or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely there's a time where we end up throwing candy away. I don't know. Some people are probably like, you could donate that, and yeah, maybe we should look into that, I guess. But I don't know if I don't feel too bad throwing candy away. It's not like you're throwing away broccoli or something.
Yeah, it's not that. Well, actually, it's kind of expensive now.
It is, yeah. It's not cheap. Up. Yeah, it's not cheap. But from a nutritional value for my life thing, it's not a tragedy if some candy goes to waste.
Sure.
Unless it's Reese's peanut butter cups, that is a tragedy.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah,
it's the best candy that there is. That's for sure. All right. Well, shall we begin with your sermon? Talk about that.
Oh, I thought this was a candy podcast. Yeah, sure. Let's talk about it.
I mean, we can if you like to. I'm fine with changing it on the fly.
Let's do the sermon. Sure.
All right. So my first question that I have for you is, you've been at St. Paul for a while now, and how many times have you preached on the prodigal son, or really, should I say, because you kind of changed that during the sermon a little bit, to the lost son?
Yeah, anyone who refers to it as the prodigal son will be in trouble. So, but no, I believe that I have never preached on this parable before.
No, I find that very hard to believe, though.
I kind of looked, and it is possible that maybe the sermon that I preached on it in the past was so bad that I deleted it from all storage devices that I have. But no, I couldn't find anything, and I mean, it doesn't come up. I mean, it comes up in the lectionary like every third year, so like the year that focuses on Luke's gospel. But it's such I'll say like a popular story that I would have thought at some point in some sermon series that we would have done, maybe I would have done it. But there's always been enough other pastors in the preaching rotation that it's probably like just I've missed it one way or another. So when I had I think I had about 4 chapters or so of Luke's gospel to choose from, I saw Luke 15 was there. I'm like, oh, I really want to do one of those 3 lost parables. So the parable of the lost son it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and with this being your first time preaching from this story from the pulpit, is there any part of the sermon that kind of preached to you specifically that like you had a new revelation on?
Yeah, well, and that is always a little bit of a struggle if there's a certain story that I just feel like I've heard so many sermons on it, or I've read it so many times. You have to try. You can't actually do it, but you have to try to delete your memory and approach it from a fresh perspective. Not necessarily thinking, oh, I want to say something that no one's ever said before, because that by this point in church history that would probably be a heresy if I'm saying something that no one's ever said before about about this parable. So you want to tread lightly there, but just trying to think, have an openness to maybe the Holy Spirit showing me some detail that I haven't noticed before or haven't focused on as much as a different part, I guess. And I think the thing that really stood out to me was as I reflected upon how the father in the story receives his son back, it made me think how amazing it is that like there's sometimes in life where you might reconcile with someone, but the relationship maybe is never quite the same as it used to be. Mm-hmm. Like there's that earthly damage to the relationship, maybe that it's maybe we kind of get along or we can be civil now, but we're never going to have like the depth or the degree of relationship that we used to have. And it's like we try to forgive, but maybe there's still kind of a begrudging sense to it. Like, well, if I have to put up with this person, I will. That's not how this goes with the father and the son who comes back. The father's not like, well, I guess I'll put up with this guy. I'll let him live here, but I'm going to remind him of how shameful it was what he did, and if I'm going to warn him if he does one more thing, he's going to be back out with the pigs or something like that. Like that's not. It's just he's a full member of the family again, and it just struck me that that's the relationship that we have with God. That's the restored relationship that we have because of what Jesus has done for us. That the Father doesn't just say to you or to me, fine, you can kind of be the lowest of the low in my house, but one more infraction and you're out, man. It's just not at all. It's we're back in all the way, and it's so beautiful to think about that. So that struck me, and I talked about that in the sermon a little bit too.
Okay, well, and probably from a parent perspective too, this story could probably hit from a different way too, I would imagine, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. Because I see that sometimes where, like even with my kids, if they've done something wrong, and then like Melissa and I will tell them, hey, like we're gonna love you no matter what. Like you can tell us anything that you've done wrong or anything that's happened to you, and like, there might be like, not gonna lie, like you might have a consequence for it, but it does not change our love for you. We will love you just as much even after that. And sometimes I almost see a look on their face like, really? Which is fair. It's fair. Yeah, I think it's fair to wonder that thing like in human relationships. But but that is when you kind of say like from the perspective of the father. Like I've thought about and I've heard other churches, other pastors doing like a 3-part sermon series on just this parable, where you focus on maybe 1 week on the son that goes away. Okay. And you focus like from his perspective, and then you focus from the perspective of the father, and then you focus on the perspective of the older son, and you get 3 very different applications, I think, of what Jesus is teaching. So that would be. We're not gonna. I'm not doing that next week. But maybe sometime in the future, kind of a 3-part prodigal son. Oh, I said it on accident. I'm in trouble. We got to edit that out. No, lost son. 3-part lost son.
All right. My next question I have for you is: did your sermon go in a different direction than what you expected?
Yes, I did not. I didn't really know how much I would focus on the older son, or if I would.
Okay.
Um, and it's like if you read the story, if it ended before, I think it's verse 25, if it ended before the verse where the older son comes in from the field and notices there's a party going on and he's jealous and he's angry,
Mm-hmm.
the story would be very satisfying and it'd be very, very nice and neat. But Jesus introduces that kind of complicating element of the story, a bit of a twist to the story that you're not expecting. And it's just like, well, it's kind of a bummer to have to deal with that
Yeah.
in the story. And so I didn't necessarily like kind of the main points of my sermon. I was thinking could have been accomplished without the older son,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt strange to not mention that part of the story. And so I guess I ended up kind of structuring my sermon in a similar way to how Jesus structures the parable, where I did include more stuff about the older son
Yeah.
at the end, because I just felt like it'd be probably not the best
Mm-hmm.
choice to and it could have been fine without the older son, but I
Yeah.
felt like we should have received that same warning, because I think at various points we are the lost son
Mm-hmm.
who gets restored, and then at other points we might be the jealous son who, for whatever reason, just kind of doesn't think that God should treat others the same way that He's treated us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I think that kind of jealousy or resentment or bitterness toward other people, it happens to us a lot in a variety of ways. I don't know how often it happens, like in the church, or when we like really think, oh, I can't believe God forgave that person. But it happens like maybe with complex family relationships where you might be jealous that your parents, you feel that maybe they gave one of your siblings more than they gave you, or they had kind of a longer leash for a sibling, or
Mm-hmm.
it might happen in the workplace or in a friend group or something where you feel like you didn't get a fair shake of something, whether it's right or not.
Yeah.
that sometimes we might think that way. So anyway, I thought that I kind of need to include the older son, and need to include that warning for whoever needs to hear it.
Okay. And this might tie a little bit to for the next question on here is like, what was the problem that you were trying to highlight within the Lost Son?
Yeah, I guess true. So the one problem would be the problem that the older son had.
Yeah.
That again, I think that does apply to everyone probably at different times. But the other problem is, well, I mean, the problem of sin, just in general.
Yeah.
That all of us are lost until we are saved by Christ. But I think the problem comes in when you inevitably find yourself to be lost.
Mm-hmm.
There is that false belief that there is a point at which God will not go looking, like He will not look for you anymore. He will not wait for you anymore. He will not let you back into the family. And that you just hear that sometimes. You hear people talk about that, whether it's like in the like publicly, or you see that kind of said in books or movies or TV shows, or just in conversation with people. And it's such a sad thing that people would think, well, I grew up in the church, but then maybe I left the church for decades, and I just am assuming now that God would not welcome me back,
Mm-hmm.
even if I went back. And it's just sad because it shows that they have believed a lie Like they don't believe that God is like really as good as he says he is.
Mm-hmm.
They believe Satan's words that, oh yeah, you there's no grace left for you
Mm-hmm.
for all the things you've done, and that just I think should break our hearts that people think that. So we have to even when we have to condemn sin and talk about the dangers of sin, we have to even more loudly proclaim the boundless grace and mercy of God in Christ.
Yeah.
And this story just has such a full dose of that,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think it's a wonderful story to tell.
Awesome. All right. So my final sermon question for you is: we can either talk about Satan or we can talk about Jesus.
Ooh, well, that's an easy one for me. Let's go with Jesus.
All right. So, where was Jesus' love and grace within this sermon?
Yeah. So this one, I chuckled a little bit when I was thinking about how to respond to this question, because it's like a Trinitarian conundrum maybe in this. Well, because Jesus tells the story, and the Father in the story is the God character, so to speak. There's almost always there is a God character in a parable, and sometimes it's more obviously the Son, and sometimes it's more obviously the Father. I guess I'm trying to think if there's any parables where we're like, oh, it's definitely the Holy Spirit, but he's the one that gets the least screen time anyway. But so yeah, I mean, we get to Jesus, I think, by seeing, and obviously like every analogy is not like a, even like any parable breaks down at some point having like a exact one-to-one correlation with how it plays out in the story of salvation. But we see the gospel comes through the Father's grace and mercy shown to the lost, and it's connected to Jesus. He says, right? He says in the Zacchaeus story, just a few chapters after this, the Son of Man has come to seek and to save the lost. And he does that with Zacchaeus, and he does that with many other people throughout his ministry, and he does that ultimately on the cross, by suffering and dying. That's how it's by Jesus going to the cross opens up the way to be restored back into the Father's household. So you can't have the context of the parable of the lost son without the work of Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's it's just, I think, again, it's just that Trinitarian conundrum, I guess, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm making more of that than I need to, but.
All right. Well, that is all of the sermon questions that I have for you. Now it's time to move to the deer in the headlight question.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say you're a pretty athletic guy, right?
I'm still hanging on a bit, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got ping pong, you got tennis, and kind of biking now. But I don't know if this is really going to help you moving forward, because we're now in the year of the Winter Olympics.
Ah, yes.
And you can't really do those. You can't really do tennis outside, right? That's kind of a
in the winter, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to hold the tennis racket when you have like gloves on or mittens.
Yeah. So my question for you is, which event do you think that you would most likely thrive at and could maybe medal in from all of the winter games?
Ooh, yeah. I'm sighing because the winter games would be definitely my weakness. Because I think maybe we've talked about this before. I don't know if we were recording or not, but I don't really like the cold. So doing things like that, I'm like I've actually never been skiing. I think maybe I think we did talk about this.
We did talk about
it was
'cause
something
it was
like
a ski race against Jack Frost.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I did snowboarding against like
No,
or
snowman or a snowball fight.
snowball fight. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
against
That's
Frosty.
right. Yeah.
Not Elf though.
Not Elf. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
not
sure.
Bloody
Not
Elf.
for sure not Elf. Yeah. Okay. So
Would you let me list some of the categories?
you could, but I also do. I think I do have an answer. Well, I have an answer to like what I would want to do, but I don't know if I would. But yeah, list off a few. We'll do
right.
that. Yeah.
Well, there's hockey,
Yeah.
ice skating,
Yeah.
curling.
Well, curling. I mean, like I could probably do curling.
Okay.
I wouldn't be good at it, but I think that's probably. I say this, and then all the curling people are going to come after me, but it does seem to be the least athletic sport in the
I don't know.
Winter
That's a lot of
Games.
arm movement.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you
That is
gotta-
true. Yeah,
you
you
gotta
know,
have
I mean,
good
hey, I've
shoulders.
I've swept a few floors in my day.
Okay. There's also the bobsledding,
See, that's what I was gonna say.
luge,
Yeah.
skeleton, and then you have skiing, snowboarding, the biathlon where you're skiing and shooting the
See
gun.
that? Yeah.
And cross country skiing as well.
Yeah. I could the cross country skiing. I would have a shot at,
Okay.
or if that's what I'm thinking, or like I mean just because that's more. I mean, I wouldn't do well, but I could do it for a little bit, like because it's like a lot of endurance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would, you know.
There's also speed skating. I forgot to
Yeah,
say
speed
that.
skating. Yeah, man, who was that guy? Apollo Ono or something
I don't know.
from like I think he's an American speed skater from like 20 years ago. Look
Yeah,
him
don't
up.
know.
He had like that tiny little goat, like that kind of soul patch goatee thing. Whatever. The people will remember. They're nodding along. But I was gonna say bobsled, and you might guess. I mean, just my generation. It's from the movie Cool Runnings.
Yep, I do know that
So,
movie.
actually, I was talking with a few people actually last night, and we were saying maybe we would make a decent 4-man bobsled team. So we might be training.
All right. So
Yeah.
bobsledding.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
Or
I mean,
curling.
well, I mean, I think realistically, I would have the best chance at curling. I would
Okay.
have actually no chance at any of them. So curling would be the logical answer. Bobsled
Okay.
would be my heart answer.
All right. I can see that.
What about you? Have you thought? I'll turn the tables on you.
Oh man. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I would be very interested in trying the biathlon
Yeah,
in that.
yeah,
Yeah, 'cause, you know, like Oklahoma, like, yep, shot the guns down there. And,
For
like,
sure,
I did
yeah.
go skiing with people too.
yeah,
Didn't end well at one point, but that's okay.
yeah.
So I don't know. I would say that's the one I would desire.
Okay,
Doesn't mean I would actually have a shot though.
yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended.
So someone told me yesterday that there's an event, a new one this year, that's called I think it's called snow mountaineering. I think the cool kids are calling it snowmo, and you're like skiing up a mountain.
Oh, yeah, I see it on the website kind of talking about that.
Skiing up a mountain sounds like the hardest thing I've ever heard of.
I know, it kind of defeats the purpose a little bit, doesn't it?
It's like yeah. It's like those kids that always try to run up the slide. You know, it's like, do you know how the slide works?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't. I know I need to watch a little bit more of the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I've kind of been not as involved this year.
Yeah.
But like I did see a video saying like, you know, the Winter Games, like they are much more extreme and dangerous compared to the Summer Games.
Oh yeah, I think almost all of them. Yeah. Well, I mean, we already had Lindsey Vonn.
Oh yeah, the
You know,
ACL.
having that. Well, she like tried to compete on the torn ACL, and
Yeah.
then she crashed and like broke her leg pretty bad.
Yep.
So, anyway.
Ugh. Well, I'll be curious to see how we do because I know currently I think we're in third right now for medals.
I think I heard that too. Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe after this will be a burst of motivation.
Yeah.
For them
Yeah. We'll see.
if they're listening in Italy to this. All right, well, that is going to be our show for today. Thank you for coming on the podcast, Beyond the Sermon, and I also believe I will be interviewing you next week as well.
That is correct.
I should say welcome back here in a couple days. I'm your host, Michael Sinn, and have a great rest of your day, everybody. Goodbye.